Hello everyone, this is Nighthawk64 here. Today we're going to be looking at the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom final trailer. It got posted this morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. I have not watched it yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to watch it full time through. This will be my initial reaction to it, and then we'll go back and look at it kind of slow-mo or frame by frame and see if there's anything that we didn't notice first time through. So we'll just get started. Oh, a lot of sky. Ooh, the music. Whoa. A slime hitting one of those things, that's funny. Oh. Oh, hells yeah. Sorry. Dang, he looks so good. Oh my god. What is that? That over there. Interesting. Wow. Oh, okay, so Central Hyrule, there's still more people kind of getting in there. I wonder what that circle thing is. Whoa. Ooh. Whoa, okay. Ganondorf. Oh no. Okay, we've kind of seen that before. We have not seen this part. Whoa, is that underground? Oh, that was like, whoa, who's that? Whoa, Hyrule Castle.
Zelda, we rely on your knight, and that legendary sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Oh my gosh, she's crying.
Link.
Is that a shield on a sword? Whoa, it's like blowing villagers around. Villagers. Whoa, what is a freaking rocket? Whoa. Whoa. Huh. What is that thing?
I know why I am here.
Why does she have a tear?
It's something only I can do.
Oh
Do not
my god.
look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's go! But you are not alone.
Link. You are our final hope.
She's got like 2 tears under her eyes. Interesting. Dang, music is so good. Dang.
Link. You must find me.
My gosh. Wow. That was a lot of stuff happening in that trailer. Holy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the beginning. And we'll kind of look frame by frame. I think I can skip frame by frame quick time. Yeah. So we saw him kind of diving down in this first part. Okay, though, the skyline, yeah. So we're kind of getting a very good look at, you know, environment above and below the surface, or above the surface in the sky. There's a lot of floating islands around different points of interest you can go to. Obviously, this is more B-roll of kind of that, and we have two enemies kind of fighting, which is kind of funny. Keep going, keep going. Another enemy kind of just like doing its thing, and then we have a kind of a very close-up shot of Link kind of diving down, which looks so sick. I'm sure skydiving in this game is going to be like so satisfying to do, like going up and down. Oh, it's going to be like probably one of the coolest mechanics of the game, is the going up and down and skydiving. Then we get a good long shot of him in the background with the title. That looks super awesome. The logo just looks so good, just so good. We don't know what kind of this is. We don't really know what this is. It's just kind of probably landmarks that you can see. You can tell where you are when you're kind of from the sky, because there's kind of one of those over here. Obviously, there's going to be kind of bodies of water and rivers and stuff that you can kind of help see from the top. But we'll keep going. Kind of him gliding. So then we have more of the... this looks like a Sheikah Tower, but we don't really know. I don't know what these like spotlights are. Maybe it's something very, very similar. We don't kind of know. There's no really close-up of that, at least that I'd remember, because we kind of have one over here as well. But kind of have him gliding. Oh, there's another one. Okay, so it's kind of it looks like a Sheikah Tower, but we don't know. We don't know. But Link kind of running in the forest, and this is a town. I don't know if this is... I don't remember what the town's called. It's not Terrytown. It's a different town, but looks very similar. Kind of building structures look very similar. I guess this kind of stuff is new. We haven't really seen this. I'm sure this is one of the towns in the map that you can kind of go and talk to the villagers and do side missions and get stuff from them and buy stuff from them. It's very... And then this is Central Hyrule. We know that. This is from the castle because that's where the fountain is. So we kind of know there's more settlers coming into Central Hyrule because after, the calamity and the apocalypse of Hyrule. And then we kind of have Link climbing the mountain. We don't really know what these are. It looks like a stone. It might be a way to like launch yourself in the air. That would kind of make sense. Maybe you kind of spiral up and it gets you in kind of a vortex and launches you up. This kind of looks like something on the ground that got lifted. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debris. Whatever brings everything in the sky, there must be a lot of debris, and I guess some of it doesn't stay in the sky because we have Hyrule Castle right here. Like, some stuff must get pulled up into the sky and just drop down, or it's just like, ruins everywhere and just random rock formations, which is kind of cool. I think it'll change the map a lot. I think people really underestimate how much the map's going to change. I think we'll be very pleasantly surprised how much it's changed. It's more B-roll, kind of probably a POI. Just Link running in the then this is kind of a cloud formation. This must be a thunderstorm, thunderstorms from the first game. It might be just random weather events that occur. Could be, otherwise it might have something to do with whatever this spot on the map is. We don't really know. This is the desert, so the kind of southwest side of the map where the Gerudo tribe is. And then we don't really know what's happening here. This must be something that happens, an event during the course of the game. Either it's the beginning of the game or maybe slightly into the story, but something is rising out of the desert. I don't know if it's a pyramid, a building, or some kind of structure. We don't really know. And then this must be the event, this next spot must be the event where everything rises into the sky. So something along the story where Ganondorf is back that's causing this to happen, where the castle rises into the sky. And then this is kind of what I'm talking about. There'll be a bunch of debris that gets lifted up and then probably just dropped back down on the ground or on the bottom map. So we got more B-roll of kind of the... So I'm curious if this will happen at the very beginning of the game, because obviously, like, all these people, all the NPCs, they look shocked that this is happening and something's happening again, something bad. And then you can kind of tell with the red Ganondorf, or part of Calamity Ganon. And then this is kind of one of the first shots of this trailer that we get of Ganondorf. So whatever this is must cause Hyrule Castle and the kind of semi-apocalypse to happen in this game. And then we get the back shot of Ganondorf with hair. We assume this is Ganondorf with the flowing hair. Some power that's rising out of the ground. Oh, and then we kind of get him turning around. I think this is Ganondorf. Has to be. Kind of get him turning around. It must be like the front of his face and his eye. Skipping frames. It's a long pause. And then we've seen this before where Zelda is falling. They must be, somewhere underground, especially from the first trailer. They're like exploring underground. And they find something and something happens and she must fall off. And Link must like dive after her. We see that something has happened to his hand already. So whatever happens with the Sheikah slate in this game that kind of merges with his hand, this has already happened in this part of the game. Wherever part this is. We've seen her falling before, so we know something serious happens. And this is kind of her we think the beginning of the game with her outfit and then her hair. And it doesn't believe she doesn't have those tears on her eyes, so we don't really know what happens next. But it's her falling, and then them trying to help, and then he must miss, and she falls somewhere. But we don't know what's happening right here. So something's happening right here. So when she's just like normal, and then she starts to glow, especially her hand. So it must be, I think that's her Triforce hand. So something, I don't know, the Triforce is like knows she's in peril and might be doing something to save her. So on this side we have more of those ground paintings, and then we have something in the desert happening again. So the sinkholes. I don't know if this is something that happens or it's just like a random part of the environment. We don't know. But something that might be interesting is that these sinkholes might lead to the underground. So obviously we know there's 2 levels to the map. We have the ground level and then we have the sky level. There might be underground stuff, right? So in the next shot, we kind of see more of the underground stuff. So maybe you fall in these sinkholes and it takes you down below wherever this is, or wherever, there's POIs underneath the ground. But obviously this must be in a volcano area because you can tell by kind of what he's wearing, especially his shoes. Must be like a hot environment where you need to wear certain stuff because it's so warm. He's running. Run. And then we don't really know who these people or whatever this is. So these ships that fly around, we don't know if this is the kind of the bird tribe at the if this is theirs, or we don't really know. We don't know what this is. Just it must be the can't remember what they're called. I have to look it up. The Rito, oh my gosh, I feel so silly. The Rito tribe, we don't know if this is them because of the cold weather and then the ships that are flying. I don't know, they fly, so it would make sense that maybe it's potentially them. We don't really know. And then we have this really cool thing where it's just like, must be, certain part of the POIs in the sky where you can, to get around, you get in the bubbles of water and then you're swimming and then you gotta go, move up, which is pretty cool. And then we don't know what this is. This laser. It's kind of like a Mission Impossible where Link's diving down and has to avoid the lasers, obviously. This could be potentially part of a dungeon in the map. We don't know. This seems a little too difficult to be just a shrine, if there is shrines in this game, but this could be potentially part of a dungeon. We don't really know. But it's really cool. He has to, I guess but seeing this makes you think that the, skydiving function, there's a lot of mobility on the way, how much you can move, up and down, left and right. And then Link sort of has a wingsuit. We really haven't seen this before. It's never been in any other trailers. It wasn't in the gameplay thing, where it's kind of kind of halfway between his regular diving and his glider, which is kind of a wingsuit. He must maybe get this from the Rito tribe, or it's just like an outfit that you can get, where you can maybe, like a real wingsuit, where you're gliding, you're slowing down how much you're falling, but then you can, maneuver forward much further. So like every foot down you go 3 feet forward, kind of how like a real wingsuit works, which is really interesting. Actually, obviously you can see him doing that in this part where he's maneuvering. And then this must be, I know, a puzzle in the game or something that has to do with a dungeon maybe. Whatever he's doing, he must be lining it up for a puzzle. More gliding within 2 walls. We don't really know. Potentially part of some POI. And then we kind of have this fight scene, which is really interesting because we have, the enemies, and then we have, the regular villagers or the Hyrule Castle warriors, the knights, and then we have Link kind of taking charge, going on to fight them because we have more people fighting over here, which is really interesting. And then them fighting. Makes me think they're kind of villagers, considering it looks like he's wearing a pot on his head, and then he kind of has a wooden shield and then kind of a stick. They look like farmers that are, protecting their wherever they live. And then we kind of have an elevator shot, him moving up, which potentially... Oh, okay, so we don't know what this is. Obviously, it looks like a Nintendo Switch, but it must be... obviously, we looked at the map in the previous game through a Sheikah slate, so there must be something very similar to the Sheikah slate that we carry, kind of look like map. But it literally looks like a Nintendo Switch with the 2 Joy-Cons, the screen, the Joy-Con, and then the C cable that goes to this. Because we don't know what this is. And then we obviously it goes somewhere, but it could be a part of a shrine with the blue. We don't really know, but obviously he must be moving really fast because you can see his face. But this, I do not know who this is. So if you know who this is, please comment below, maybe inform me who this is, but I personally do not know who this is. This is the first shot I've seen this person that I remember. We don't know who this is. Someone that likes to fight because they look at their face and how messy they look. But we don't know who that is. More Link, kind of B-roll of Link. Okay, so one of those, it looks like a bigger one of those new enemies that we saw in the previous gameplay trailer, which is really interesting. It might be, a boss fight or in a dungeon where we have to fight this thing. Kind of Link looking back in Hyrule Castle, looks so pristine. Obviously way better than it looked in the previous game where we had to fight Ganondorf, or Calamity Ganon. And then we have Zelda. So one of the first shots of her kind of in the new outfit or the different outfit than the previous or beginning of the trailer, where she kind of looks a little more run down. Maybe that she's in prison or some kind of jail. And then this is the part where someone's telling her that, Link's the only way to, our only hope, right? Because then we get kind of the first shot of the Master Sword in its entirety. We don't know why it kind of looks broken in the logo or the previous trailers, what happens to it. We got Link, kind of B-roll of the Master Sword. And then we kind of have Link grabbing for it. But really interesting part about this is his hand that looks like it's got the, it looks different. This is the same hand that kind of has the new abilities in it that we saw in the previous trailers. This is his hand, but it looks normal in this, which is interesting. So we don't know what part of the game this is. This could be the very part of, maybe right away you get the Master Sword in the beginning of the game, and then, story, something happens to it, gets broken, and then your hand changes. We don't really know. And then we have another shot of Zelda. We don't know who this is. At least I don't know who this is. Kind of a darkened hand. We don't really know. Maybe this is the person that revives Ganondorf. We don't know. But she has the tears. Something has happened to her. This must be after she falls down or after she falls in that hole. She has that necklace that we saw her holding in her hand, and then she has 2 tears on each of her side. Obviously, this has to do with the title, Tears of the Kingdom, which makes sense. It has to do with, something story-wise. But she has 2 tears, which Good characters to looking up at this person. More B-roll. Link flying through on this hawk thing. Him flying through the sky. And then him fighting a new enemy. So the fuse thing, this caught my eye the first time. He has a shield fused onto a sword. So it's like a defensive weapon and an offensive weapon, which is really interesting. Obviously we don't know how this works other than this initial shot, but and maybe is like yeah, I don't know. Can't tell if it broke though. Maybe it did. I don't know. I can't tell. No, because you can still see the shield. Yeah, that's very interesting. A shield on a sword. So it's a defensive weapon and an offensive weapon. And then more gliding through that eye thing, the puzzle we saw earlier of him doing. We don't know what these are. Then him fighting a new fire enemy. But that looks like it's one of the people from the volcano town, right? With the chains and them growing. But maybe it's a new enemy. We don't really know what's happening here. Maybe Link's training, or we don't really know. And then Link flying, which is really interesting. Oh, because it's like kind of a trampoline that's launching him in the air, because the Rito can fly, he cannot. And then him pulling people along, so maybe this is a side mission where you have to, fuse a thing together for a cart to pull these people along, which is really interesting that you can, put a cart on a horse and pull it around, which is really cool. And then us Link fighting, more B-roll, him doing kind of the reverse power ability that he has in this game, reversing time. And then we don't know what this rocket thing is. That is very interesting. It must have fused a rocket with his shield, I'm guessing. That he can just like turn it on and then go in the air, which is really cool. We don't know what this rocket thing is. Very interesting. And obviously him, moving through the sky. These must be, like jump pads where they can launch in the air. And then we have kind of a mine carts with a fan on it. So maybe it's a dungeon or a POI that you need to fight to get to something. Obviously you're fighting this thing. One of the enemies on another cart. And then we have like I don't even know what to call this. Okay, so this is an enemy, and then we have these enemies on the top. Maybe the only way to defeat this thing is by building something, but it kind of reminds me of what's it called? Like the robot fighting that people do, like where you build like a robot and then you like these two like your remote control robot like fight to the death in like arena. I can't remember what it's called, but that's what it reminds me of. Where you can just like come up with some contraption that potentially can defeat something bigger. I think this is really cool. I think people in this game will find really, really cool things to fuse together. I think that'll be really interesting. Then we have more B-roll of Link fighting. Obviously, he must have fused something on an arrow that he can shoot. Maybe it's a bomb, fire. And then we have, armor on the horse. It's really cool. And then obviously more shots of different outfits Link will have. So this is not the Master Sword. This is a regular sword. So interesting. And then we don't know what these are. I don't know what these are. These little canisters on his belt. Some more shots of Link fighting. Must have activated something that lasers enemies. And then we don't know what this is. We don't know. Must be just like a boss or a different creature that you need to fight. Obviously, he's getting help from this Rito. And then more shots of whatever happens story-wise with Ganon. And then more shots of Zelda. She is on the outside, so the surface level. She must be in her new outfit with the 2 tiers, which is interesting. And then this is kind of the shot. The shot of the thing in her hand. Let's see if we can get to it. Closing her eyes. So this must be kind of the tier of the kingdom, or tiers. So there must be more than one, makes me think. So this kind of looks like a teardrop. So it's not Tear of the Kingdom, it's Tears of the Kingdom, so it makes me think there's more than one, right? That we need to collect or something. So maybe it's kind of like a one like this, and then there's another one that wraps like this, maybe. We don't know. Must be some kind of power inside of it because it's kind of flowing, looks like. And then we have Ganondorf kind of blasting in the air. Obviously, juicing up his dudes, his army. Holy, I hope we don't have to fight 3 of those at once. And then the malice is getting on him. So maybe this is what makes his hand go that way. Because, we have the Master Sword right here, and then his hand kind of looks normal. So maybe the Master Sword and his hand get a bunch of malice on it, and that's what deteriorates it or causes it to do that. And that's what causes his hand to look like that, potentially. He gets like almost infected by it, by the malice. Yep. So we kind of see it doing it to his hand. So maybe that's what eats the Master Sword. Potentially. And then we have Ganondorf kind of juiced up. Yep. So we don't know what part of the game this is. This is kind of just a shot of Ganondorf. Must be at full power, full. We have more enemies, big, larger enemies that we don't really know about. This kind of looks like an alligator that kind of inks around, potentially. And then more diving, flying. Maybe this is kind of where Link learns to fly, kind of in the sky. Rito Warrior potentially teaches him how to do it. We kind of see his hand with the blackened hand that he has. Yep, this must be where he learns to fly. And then here's another tier. So we don't know what this is. I can't say that I know who this is. It looks like it could be Zelda. I don't know. If you do know, please let me know in the comments to inform me. But it kind of looks like Zelda, very similar to her, especially with the earrings and the eyes and the ears and the hair and potentially the wardrobe and the tear thing. It could be her. And then obviously using, blasting away those enemies. And then we have a Gerudo kind of dancing, lightning. Then we have a shot with Link and some of his friends. They look like a bunch of misfits, especially the Buckethead. Bunch of misfits. Link fighting. Gonna get an anger shot of him, and then him fighting 2 others, 3 others. So we don't know who this is. It looks like one of, a Hydra. I don't know if this is an enemy or potentially Ganondorf. We don't know. And then the Zelda with the Master Sword. We don't know if it's the full Master Sword or if it's the, the chopped up one. And then we get the final logo. Very, very cool. So, kind of just play the rest. Kind of play the music. We have the Nintendo Switch logo, obviously, and then the final logo.
Link!
And then we have more of her kind of just standing, very similar to the shots earlier of her above the surface. I think this is the part where she's holding Master Sword, especially looking at her arms. She must be in some central location or...
You must find me.
So it makes me think that she is imprisoned somehow. And that we don't know where she is and, the job, as Link's job is to go find her. But then we have the date, still May 12th. It's pretty concrete. Obviously the game is finished. And then we have the final Nintendo logo. So, very awesome trailer. I believe that's the final one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you appreciated kind of this thorough look through my reaction to the trailer. I appreciate everyone watching. If you have any additional comments or things you want to let me know or talk about, just list them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.